What is up, Life Tech fam? Here again with another video. We're going to be doing a starter on a 2003 to probably 2006 Toyota Corolla, and it's a pretty simple, easy procedure. It should take only about an hour and a half less if you have all the proper tools. So let's get started and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so we're looking at the front of the car here, and let me get my shadow out of the way. If you look right underneath the intake here, the starter is right down there. First couple things that you're going to do to make it easy is you're going to remove your intake hose here. It's two 10mm bolts, really easy and simple. You're going to have to remove your throttle body electrical connector, and in order to get an easy access, you probably don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways to make it easy, is take off the fan so you can have some room under here to take out the starter. Fan's really easy. Take off the electrical connector for the fan down there. 110 here on the bottom underneath the top radiator hose, and the other 10 is down here next to the coolant reservoir. When you take off the coolant reservoir hose, make sure you break the seal with a pair of pliers, but be very careful. Just kind of twist it back and forth and pull it off. So let's do this. I'm going to start by removing the 10mm bolts for the fan. Put them in a nice safe place. Oh, and then before you start working on the starter, always disconnect your negative battery terminal when you're working with any type of electrical, just so you don't fry any circuits. Now, assembly should just come right up. Should. So that's out there. Inside. And now you have all kinds of room in here to work. Stick your hand in here to remove the starter easily. Very easy, and saves you a bunch of time and headache from trying to fidget getting the starter out. Okay, the first starter bolt you can see on the bottom, which is right here. This guy is probably going to be a 14mm. The other one is behind the throttle body, back here. If you stick your hand down here, you can feel the starter bolt. Let me see if I can show you guys. The starter bolt is this guy right there. So if I come out of here, you can see it's underneath all that stuff. You can fit a ratchet in here with an extension and hit it and break it loose. And then the electrical connector here, I just went ahead and pulled this guy off from right here. Push this tab right here and it comes right out. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because it's really bright out here and it's dark inside of here, but I'm going to use my 14mm 3/8 short ratchet and go ahead and tackle that bottom bolt. So make sure, just put it down there, give a couple tugs and pull up. And that bottom one is already loose, and we can start going ahead and working it. It's pretty loose, and I think I can remove it with my hand already. Yeah, you pretty much turn this out with your hand. So now that that's loose, we'll just leave that one in there. So when we take out the top one, it will be easier. So let's get my 6" extension here. Put this 14 on it, and we'll put it right in here. You see, feel where it's at again. Okay, let's try a 3" extension. I'm gonna do a 3" extension with the chain deep. That should be proper setup there. So, got it on there. Now I'm just gonna hold the bottom end of the ratchet and try to break it loose. Okay, you don't want to strip it, so let's try another method. Okay, I'm resorting to 1/2-inch ratchet, extended arm with a 2.5, 3-inch extension with my 9/16 short 1/2-inch, just to give me a little bit more leverage. So when you go in here, you can break it loose. Leverage wins every time over brute force. So once it's loose, take that off and we can remove it by hand. Okay, got the top bolt out. Okay, so now we're going to remove the bottom bolt. Since it's already loose, you can take that out, remove it pretty simply. Just with your hand. This one seems a little bit longer. And that one's out. But they are exactly the same, so you don't have to worry about getting the bolts mixed up. So once those two bolts are out, you can wiggle that starter and it'll come right off. So now that the starter's out, you can take off the electrical cover here for the power. And if you can see right here, that will be a 12mm nut. Take off that nut and the starter will be loose. Okay, got my 12mm here, or actually 10mm. Here's my 12. So I got my 12 here. I'm gonna go ahead and just break this guy off here. It's important that you have the battery disconnected, because if you're touching this with your ratchet and you touch another piece of metal, you will fry either the circuit on the starter or the fuse. Most likely the fuse, but it's a pretty scary ordeal when it happens. So just do yourself a favor and take off the battery, the negative battery terminal. This is loose. Take that off, and we got our starter. Easy access since we already took off the fan here. And that's simple stuff right there. It only took me maybe 10 minutes. We got our new remanufactured, or actually not new, I should say remanufactured starter. Hecho in Mexico. Part number 17841. Remanufactured is pretty much the same as a new one, except it's a rebuilt. That's what most people opt out for because it's a lot cheaper. Okay, now the next thing you would do is you would match it up right next to the old one and see that you have exactly the same starter. In this case, we do. So let's go ahead and take off this sticker here. Stick that one on the old one so we can return it. Lets them know that that's the old one, even though it's all dusty. Okay, so we got our new starter here, remanufactured. I mean, keep saying new. I shouldn't say new. Confuse you guys. I'm gonna take off the use the factory nut, and I'm going to reuse the original OE one because it already comes with a washer. So what we'll do first is you're going to put on that power cable. Since you can't access it once it's on there already, we'll put it on now. Tighten it down with your hands. Now, take our 12mm and just go ahead and tighten it. Not super tight, just tight enough so it won't come off. And when you're doing this and working around the condenser, make sure that you don't puncture the condenser. That's pretty important, pretty vital part, or else you'll have cooling problems and start overheating. Put that cover back on to protect it. Now we are just going to place this starter exactly in here how it came out. Hopefully you guys can see this, but it's not too hard once you get to this part in this stage right here. Just got to wiggle it around. So you want to push it back into the corner of the space and put that starter head right in there. And it'll match up perfectly with those holes, and it'll pretty much hold itself there. So we'll get our 2 bolts, which are exactly the same size, so you don't have to worry about getting them mixed up. We'll put the bottom one in first. Bottom one goes in. Take our electric ratchet here. And I always grab the 12. I need a 14. Let's grab that 14. We're going to go ahead and snug it up all the way, but not tight, so that you'll have some room to put in your top bolt without having it too tight, and you can wiggle it around if it's giving you some trouble. So remember where your top starter bolt was, stick it in there and just hand thread a little bit. Once that's in, we'll take our little extension here and electric ratchet. Got the electric ratchet on there. Give it a couple turns and snug it up. Now that it's snugged up, you can tighten up the bottom, your electric ratchet or hand ratchet or whatever you'd like to use, and then you can tighten it. Pretty tight, not loose, but not over tight. A lot of people try to crank these things down like it's a, you know, a strongman competition, but it doesn't really need to be that tight. I'd say maybe about 15, 20 pounds. And that's good right there. Don't forget, you got to plug in your electrical connector on the bottom there. Okay, that's plugged in. We will, let's see. We got our throttle body connector here that I took off. I probably didn't need to because I was planning on taking off the throttle body, but it's not necessary. So we'll get our fan. And we'll just place her in here. Let me show you guys. It has two little slots. One slot here and one slot on the other side. And you can see that it has a space for one right there and one's right here. So you'll slide that right in and then you could put your 10s. Go ahead and put our fan in. Coolant reservoir facing towards the motor. Just kind of shimmy her in here. She'll go right in. It's pretty easy to take out. Shouldn't be that hard to go back in. And slide those two slots right in. You're going to take your two 10s. Put them in the sides. Tighten those up. And you're going to take your intake hose. I'll put the throttle body side in first. Tighten that up. Make sure all your electrical connectors are in. I disconnected the fan. So put those tabs in here, plug the fan in, tighten up your 10s here, that's good. Okay, we got the hose connected. All we gotta do is put back the cover. We'll place our cover here. Put the two 10s on. And then don't forget to put your battery back on. And that concludes our starter for the 2003 Toyota Corolla. Thanks for watching, guys. If this video helped you and did you a great service, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me tremendously. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.